Hello and welcome to my channel, Liberate Your Soul, where I, Monica, am going to be sharing my story of liberation with you guys. So today I'm going to talk about a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And why is it near and dear to my heart? Because I've seen how profoundly it has benefited my life to be on a self-awareness journey. And today I'm going to share with you guys 4 things that I've learned on my self-awareness journey that I think is super important to accept, realize, and own if you are on a self-awareness journey. Okay, so number 1, I think something that's super important to understand is that this is a never-ending journey. You are going to be constantly learning and rediscovering yourself. It's like a death and rebirth all the time. The more you become aware of yourself, the more you understand yourself. But the more you understand yourself, the more you're going to be changing and growing and having new desires, goals, wants, and needs. So it's super important to have compassion for the fact that you're forever changing and growing. And as you change and grow, you become more and more aware of yourself. So it is a never-ending journey. And it's important to remember that that applies to not only you, but everyone you're in a relationship with and the world in general. Like, the most consistent thing in life is change. That's the thing that you can promise is going to happen. Everything at some point in time is going to change. Okay, number 2, this is a commitment. This is a practice. This practice requires dedication. Why is this a commitment? It's a commitment because there are some parts of this that doesn't necessarily feel good. One thing I want to emphasize is that sometimes on a self-awareness journey, it is not going to feel good to be aware of certain things about yourself. I also want to emphasize that there are certain things about yourself that you're going to discover or rediscover that you love. It goes both ways. There are positive and negative things that you're going to become aware of. And the negative things are not always going to feel good. And this is why I see for a lot of people, this does not become a practice. And this is something that they don't commit themselves to because it doesn't feel good to become aware of aspects of yourself that don't necessarily make you feel good and that make you look bad. So yeah, realize that sometimes it's going to make you feel bad, look bad, or you might be bad in this situation. And although that sucks, but if you're going to be as self-aware as you can be, you have to be willing to look at those aspects of yourself. You have to be willing to, sit with yourself and see that sometimes I do bad things and sometimes I do good things. So it takes a commitment, just like in a relationship. In a relationship, it doesn't always feel good. And a lot of people don't like that aspect of relationships. They like to leave relationships because of that, which is why we like to distract ourselves or escape from ourselves when it comes to this practice. But it's super important to remember that you have to commit even if it doesn't feel good. Because if you want to create, for example, healthy relationships, and this leads me to number 3 that I've learned about self-awareness, is it goes hand in hand with self-love and relationships, or creating healthy relationships with yourself and other people. When it comes to yourself and self-love, well, it builds self-trust because you're actually getting to know yourself. It creates a situation, or it creates a lifestyle where you can follow your joy because you can actually tap into your joy. Because if you know how you feel, if you know what brings you joy, if you're aware of it, then you can go after it. If you're not aware of yourself, if you don't know what you like, what you dislike, what you want, what you need, what you desire, you're never going to be able to go in the direction of joy, or you're never going to be able to be, for example, going away from the things that don't bring you joy, so you can actually go ahead and go forth toward your joy, your desires, your dreams, whatever it may be. So yeah, it builds a sense of self-trust and connection. So when it comes to relationships, it basically does the same thing, but it also creates a safe relationship. I think it creates a safe relationship because you actually get to know the person. You get to know what makes them feel good, and you get to know what doesn't make them feel good, and you can act on that. The same thing can apply to yourself. If you want to create a safe relationship, you can create trust that way because you become aware of what that person wants and needs, likes, and doesn't like. It just creates an environment of health and harmony with yourself and with other people if you can become aware of yourself. And like I said, where it becomes difficult is when, for example, you're in a relationship with someone and you're hurting them, and you have to look at yourself and say, oh man, I'm actually hurting them. And for a lot of people, it's very difficult to sit in that position of self-awareness and say, I'm hurting somebody. It sucks. No one wants to be hurting somebody, especially someone that they're in a close relationship with, because it makes you look bad and you're afraid of the outcome. And the outcome could be, for example, them leaving you. That's something for me that I struggled with a lot on my journey. I was always finding myself saying, I'm afraid to hurt other people. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt somebody else. And I would sacrifice myself just so I wouldn't hurt other people. But what I didn't realize was, on a deeper level, I wasn't necessarily afraid to hurt other people. I was afraid of what it meant to hurt other people. I was afraid of the fact that they might reject me or abandon me or be angry with me. And what does that mean? Ultimately, it's the second thing I said, that they might just leave. But that's what we're doing to them and ourselves when we're not being aware of what we're doing, for example, to hurt people, or what we're doing to hurt ourselves, and stop ourselves from evolving and growing in relationships and creating healthy relationships with ourselves and other people. Okay, and number 4, self-awareness absolutely goes hand in hand with how you feel. And how you feel absolutely goes hand in hand with following your joy. If you do not know how you feel, if you are not aware of your feelings and your emotions, you are not going to be able to go in the direction of your joy, your wants, your needs. You're just not going to be tapped into yourself or in tune with yourself enough to even know. So self-awareness absolutely goes hand in hand with your purpose, with living your purpose. If you don't know your joy, then you don't know your purpose. And I don't feel like anybody can live a life that's fulfilling if we're not living a life of purpose. So for me, I'm still discovering what that is. This is a part of it, sharing my journey with you guys, sharing my stories, and being open and vulnerable about my process. But it's taken me a long time because I spent many, many years being numb. So it wasn't until I became aware of the fact that I was numb that I was able to be aware of the fact that, well, if I'm numb, how am I supposed to know what I actually want and what I need, what I feel? It's not easy. It's a journey. Like I said, it's a practice, it's a commitment. It's forever unfolding. And yeah, I guess all those steps you can kind of put into one sentence, the crescendo. But yeah, so I'll go over the steps one more time without the extra explaining. 1, it's a journey and it's forever unfolding. 2, it's a commitment to yourself, to other people, to the world. And it's not always going to feel good. But when you're committed to something, you're there even if it doesn't feel good. 3, it goes hand in hand with self-love and healthy relationships. If you want to create safe relationships with yourself and others, you have to be committed to becoming as aware as you can so you can actually create those relationships and take action on the things that feel good and take actions, or stop taking actions on the things that don't feel good. And it helps you follow your joy. If you don't know how you feel and you're not aware of it, you're not going to be able to follow it. You're not going to be able to follow your purpose. You're not going to be able to find your purpose, because that requires you knowing your joy, knowing yourself. Okay guys, so I hope that this video helped. These are the things that I've learned on my self-journey. My self-journey, you can say that. My self-love journey, my self-awareness journey, my self-journey meaning my self-discovery journey. And yeah, I hope that this video and that future videos that I make help you guys on your self-awareness journey, your self-love journey, and your self-discovery journey. And I hope that you guys have an amazing day. I love you, marvelous souls. Ciao.